argue that writers should be given free rein to use it as much as they want. I'm going to give 4 points in support of this. So, number one, imagine you are one of those people who's kind of a bit sick of this tense, think it's overused, want rid of it. And you're in a bookshop and a book catches your eye and you open it to have a little bit of a little free sneaky sample of it before you buy it, and it's there again, it's in the present. What are you going to do? Are you going to let out an animal moan of distress and then hurl it furiously at the head of the nearest librarian or bookseller? No, of course you're not. I mean, for one thing, those people are endangered species. They're protected. We can't go throwing things at them. But also, you know, you're surrounded by books. If you don't like it, have a look around. I'm sure you can find another one that's in the tense that you prefer, that you'll be happier with. I don't like Battenberg. You know? I think it's attention-seeking, motley appearance writes checks that its flavour cannot cash. And I also think that if you were to fillet Satan, particularly on a day on which he's been less than rigorous in his personal hygiene, it would taste of marzipan. So I don't like Battenberg, but I don't get angry about it. I just have the other cakes, you know, as you can see. So, and I think the same approach applies to, you know, narrative styles. If you don't like it, just read something else. My second argument would be, yeah, a bit more of a personal one. This one, if I could just share something with you. The present tense is used in one of my personal favourite of all genre, which is this, fighting fantasy game books. I don't know how familiar any of you are with this particular genre of literature. I'm just going to share a little bit of one with you in case you aren't. Just to explain the way it works, it's a non-linear narrative, so it's broken up into 400 sections, and each one that you read, at the end you get options. You're on the role of the protagonist, and you get to decide what happens next in the story. While he's nodding, there's a little familiarity. It's kind of like the Road Not Taken, but with more goblins and swordplay. That'd be one way of putting it. Well, how nice to be in a place where you can make a reference like that. Let's just try a little bit. This is a Death Trap Dungeon, my favourite one. It's set in a Death Trap Dungeon, and you have to survive. You have to get through it. You soon arrive at a double door in the left-hand wall. You listen at the door but hear nothing. You try the handle. It turns and you open the left door slightly and peer through the crack. An armed warrior is lying face down on the floor of a bare room with smooth walls and a low ceiling. He is presumably dead, for he makes no movement even when you call out to him. A large jewel, perhaps a diamond, lies just beyond his outstretched arm. If you wish to enter the room and take the jewel, turn to 65. If you would rather continue north, turn to 252. So what we're going to do? What should we do? Hands up if you think we should go into the room and take the jewel. Okay, hands up if you think we should continue north. Right, okay, that's pretty. What do you think, Molly?
Quite even, isn't it?
Could you give us the casting vote, Molly? As the,
Would I like to go south?
First in charge.
David, yes or no?
No, say no.
Yes.
I can't hear because the kids.
Jewel or no?
Jewel or north?
No.
I don't know. I couldn't hear what they were saying.
You might find a flaw in this
It's
book.
noisy out here with kids and bells and cars and things.
Jewel or north?
Doesn't matter, just choose
Choose
one word.
If it was worth a bit, yeah, I'd take the jewel.
Diamond.
Jewel.
Okay, right, gone for diamond. Right, turn 65. So exciting. Have you drunk a potion found inside a black leather book? Have you drunk a potion found inside a black leather book?
Yes or no?
No, okay. Turn to 372. Right, see. You finally reach the warrior's body, but as soon as you touch the jewel, both it and the warrior vanish into thin air. You hear the door slam behind you, followed by a sudden ominous rumbling above you. You look up and see the ceiling start to lower. You run to the door to try to escape, but it is locked and there is no handle on the inside. The ceiling gradually drops until you are forced to lie on the ground, trying to halt the ceiling's progress with your hands and feet, but it is a hopeless task, and you are crushed to death in the stone voice.
Can I change my mind?
Did you save the page?
These books are great at teaching children that all choices have responsibilities that come with them. This one's from 1984, and they were marketed, I suppose they were kind of marketed sort of at the same people who like Dungeons and Dragons, so it was also very popular at the time. But these were marketed, I suppose, more at people, the sort of slightly weird, unusual misfits who like Dungeons and Dragons but didn't even have 2 or 3 friends who they could gather together and play the game with. I had about 20 of these books, and I really liked them. So, anyway, without the present tense, the third point I'd like to make is really, who am I? Who am I really to say that, that published writers should or shouldn't do anything? I mean, they've got their work published. They must be doing something right. I would no more tell them how I think they should organise their narrative technique than I would give Russell Brand sex tips. So, no, that's my third point. Finally, I suppose I feel as, because I said it before, as I'm a teacher, I should give at least one sort of serious example, sort of more literary example of the present tense being used well. So I've chosen a bit from The Great Gatsby, most of which is in the past tense, but Fitzgerald switches to the present when he's describing the parties that Gatsby gives. I'll just read a little bit of this. By 7 o'clock the orchestra has arrived. No thin 5-piece affair, but a whole pit full of oboes and trombones and saxophones and viols and cornets and piccolos and low and high drums. The last swimmers have come in from the beach now and are dressing upstairs. The cars from New York are parked 5 deep in the drive, and already the halls and salons and verandas are gaudy with primary colours, and hair bobbed in strange new ways, and shawls beyond the dreams of Castile. The bar is in full swing, and floating rounds of cocktails permeate the garden outside until the air is alive with chatter and laughter and casual innuendo and introductions forgotten on the spot and enthusiastic meetings between women who never knew each other's names. The lights grow brighter as the earth lurches away from the sun, and now the orchestra is playing yellow cocktail music, and the opera of voices pitches a key higher. Laughter is easier minute by minute, spilled with prodigality, tipped out at a cheerful word. The groups change more swiftly, swell with new arrivals, dissolve and form in the same breath. And I suppose, you know, you could argue that one of the things that he's doing there is just making it a bit more vivid, a bit more immediate, by switching to the present tense in that way. But I suspect maybe he's also doing something a little bit more subtle in terms of satirising these people at this party, and in a way himself, by implying that that they are present tense people. They're not concerned with consequences. They're leading careless, carefree lives. So I think, you know, if there's a particular reason that you can identify for using it, particularly perhaps switching into it, then that would be another reason. And you know, if we discourage people from doing that, we might not get something great like that. So thank you.
Right.